You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. Belinda from Soap Dirt here, and I've got huge news about next week's episodes. Finally, we are going to get more of Thomas Forrester and Hope Logan during February sweeps. They have been noticeably absent. We will tell you what day to expect to see them next week, and also some of my concerns about this overdue appearance. If you haven't, though, please reach down and click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. Now let's dive right in. So the last time we saw Thomas and Hope together, it was on February 2nd. That was day 2 of February sweeps. By the way, so far, we've had a total of, by the time you're listening to this, probably 10 to 11 sweeps episodes, and Thope has been on exactly 2 of those. And of course, you know who has been front and center in every single one of these 10 sweeps episodes. In case you lost count, it's Luna and RJ. But if you are a Thomas and Hope shipper, the good news is you will finally get a glimpse of your couple next week. I don't really expect to see them, this week, because all the spoilers left are just Poppy and Luna and Zende, a little bit of RJ for the rest of this week on Bold and the Beautiful. So right now, what I can tell you is you have at least one episode of Thomas Forrester with Hope Logan next week. That is on Tuesday, February 20th. So we don't have specific spoilers as of this time that I'm making this video, but I have seen a photo from the episode for next week. And so we have Thomas and Hope together. They're in the design office. They are talking to someone else, and they are all smiles. I can tell they're talking to somebody else because they're standing side by side and looking across the room at somebody. They're both smiling. They seem happy. They're not getting frisky on the sofa or the desk, which also lets you know they are not alone in the design office, because every time they are, that's what's happening. So the day before they appear in the design office on Bold, I've seen another photo, and it's of Poppy Nozawa on Monday the 19th. She's in the same office, so clearly she is there because this Friday, she and Luna have a big discussion with Zende Forster. They come over to tell him, oh, by the way, my daughter took some of these mints, these things I'm calling mints, but really they're clearly hard drugs. And my daughter roofied herself and climbed into bed with you. Poor Zende. I presume that conversation is either going to continue over on Monday or more Poppy and Luna scenes when they're in the office. So not sure if it's going to be Zende or RJ or Poppy or Luna or somebody else next week. The scenes I've spotted of Steffi and Liam and Finn for next week, they are all at the Malibu house. So we'll just see who's in the design office with them. In the scene of Thomas and Hope next week, they're both dressed very nicely. Thomas is in a black suit, not something more casual, like a suit jacket with a white dress shirt. It's unbuttoned at the neck. He's not wearing a tie. It's very casual, sexy, like they were just drinking at a wedding or something. Hope Logan, meanwhile, is in a very nice black dress. These are actually not outfits that look like what they wear every day at work. I mean, sometimes he's in a suit, but it's usually something flashier, something red, So I wonder if they were out on a date or something. If I had my February sweeps druthers, they would just come back and they've eloped, and the rings on her finger, and those were their wedding clothes. I don't think it's going to go that way, but just seeing Thomas in a suit, seeing her in a nice dress, seeing them all smiles, if I'm just having a wish list, what would have been really nice during February sweeps, and especially on Valentine's Day, was for us to get some scenes with our favorite couples doing romantic things. Romantic couples doing romantic things for the most romantic day of the year. Couples like Thomas and Hope that we'll see next week, Ridge and Brooke, who we haven't seen together in quite a few episodes, Steffi and Finn. It's been a minute since we've seen them. Heck, I would even take scenes with Bill and Poppy out on a date doing romantic things. Instead, they basically ignored Valentine's Day, at least so far, and they jumped into someone roofying themselves and then some unintended quasi-sexual assault, which is very horrible and not romantic at all. I don't know, I hope Brad Bell's a little more romantic in his own marriage, if this is what he thinks viewers want to see on Valentine's Day. My other concern about Thomas and Hope's upcoming appearances is that there are still some February sweeps spoilers related to them that have not yet happened that came out undated. One of those says Xander Avant is coming back in sweeps. Now, he's not been seen since January, and the spoilers indicate that Xander is not done trying to tarnish Thomas and paint him as a cold-blooded killer. On Monday's episode, February 19th, we may get some flashbacks of Emma Barber, the one that Xander keeps accusing Thomas of murdering. Kimberlyn Brown flashed a little bit of a script that she was going over on an Instagram video. We blew up the scene and we looked at the character names and we saw the name Emma on there, which is pretty unusual because Emma Barber is the only one that's had that first name on the show that I recall. She's been dead since 2019. So I wonder if that was just a reference to them running some old flashbacks, or if they brought Nia Sue back to film new scenes to create some additional flashback history, maybe to beef up Xander's allegations or defend Thomas from the allegations. We won't know until Monday the 19th, and just watch to see if there's any Emma that day. So I do have to say that I'm glad I did not see Thomas and Hope on Valentine's Day, because I'm kind of worried that he would propose marriage to her yet again, unless they elope. That would be fine. Skipping straight to elopement is fine, but Hope told Thomas she needs time. She isn't ready to put the ring on her finger. Thomas is not being as patient as I would like to see him be. However, he is telling her he loves her and can't wait to spend the rest of his life with her, and clearly he can't wait. But at the same time, he's being very sweet. It hasn't turned stalkerish. Not yet, and it may not. I tend to expect we may not see much of Thomas and Hope next week. Heck, unless Xander is back, we may not see them for the rest of sweeps. This is clearly the RJ and Luna and Zende sweeps. That's what it is. The only real Thomas and Hope storyline they are giving us in sweeps is Xander making accusations. Although we did get a nice little side order of Brooke being shocked about him proposing, and then word spreading around Forster Creations about it. At least these two crazy kids have Ridge Forster on their side, because Steffi and Brooke and Finn are all definitely opposed to the idea of Thomas and Hope getting engaged, much less married. But for now, Hope and Thomas are spotted next week, happy to be together, even if she's not ready to say, I love you. She's sticking with him. She basically told her mom the other day she needs to adjust her attitude because Thomas is in her life. To her credit, Hope is not letting anyone pressure her about this engagement. Not her mom trying to stop it, and not Thomas trying to move it forward. I do appreciate this new, empowered, stronger version of Hope that we have. All right, there it goes. Buckle up for a Tuesday appearance of Thomas Forrester with Hope Logan on B&B. Be sure and drop your comments here about what you hope to see them doing, and please click subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, we are here talking bold 7 days a week, and this is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.